up everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jeffrey from PSR Parts. Today we are back with a BMW G20 330e from Belgium. This car currently already has been tuned by us, so we are going to walk you through the modifications that we have done. But prior to that, we are going to tell you what was happening with this car. So this car has been tuned elsewhere. So this is a Belgian car, which means for the MOT, everything that does not have paperwork, which of course a Catless Downpipe or an OPF does not have, had to be built back to original. With the software that was on the car was not running well, so it had a stage 1 or stage 2. I think it's stage 2. With the stage 2 software, the car was not running well. It was not consistent in power. With that, the car was actually not really good with daily driving and that kind of stuff. After the customer built back the original downpipe and the original mid-pipe, the car still gave OPF errors, the car had cat errors. They fixed some of that. After they fixed it, of course, the original downpipe was on the car, but the car was still having problems with the catalytic converter. So the BMW dealer told the customer that the cat had to be replaced, but as we found out during this video, there's something else going on. You will find out later. Of course, we have already fixed that problem. The car is now running a stage 2. The car is now running a mild stage 1, so the customer did not want the full stage 2 package. He did want the catback, which is also a OPF delete, of course. They are all from DCE parts, one of our first products that we have developed and still one of our most popular. And he wanted to have the car tuned based on the components that we have, of course, put in the car. We had to otherwise always modify the software for the OPF and the cat. So we asked him, why not just do a mild tune if you are unsure about the reliability of the car. So we were aiming for somewhere around 360 and 380 horsepower. So let's hop into the car and see what the car does. So we just started working on the BMW 330e, and we are finding quite a few bits that are being messed with. So first of all, the connectors were already broken, so that's how it came out of the box. The car has been tuned before, and as you can see, it has not been done properly because the cables are now one big mess. That's one. And the car has a catalytic converter error, which is now kind of explaining it because the cables are turned around. So if we walk to this car, which is the B58, engine, but in principle, cables principle is the same. The regulating lambda is on the front, and the checking lambda is, of course, on the rear, which is the gray one. If we go back there, I'm not sure if you can see it. The gray one is on the front, and the black one is on the rear. There we go, we are on board the BMW 330e. Of course, one of our most well-known platforms because it was one of the first ones that we have tuned. Really happy with the result already. This car has been tuned to a mild stage 1, which is actually a mild stage 2 with all the mods, but the customer didn't want to have the full package in terms of power and boost. We have modified the software to be a mild stage 1, which means the car will be running around 360 to 380 horsepower. Still very healthy numbers, and it truly transformed how the car already feels. It is a full catback exhaust, so it includes the OPF delete mid-pipe and of course a remote to open and close the valves, which is of course a very nice thing to have. This car has Catless Downpipe, non-resonated mid-pipe OPF delete and or axleback exhaust. And as you can hear, with the valves closed, it's actually really comfortable still. And with the valves open, you can hear the car come to life, which is of course really a nice thing to do. Still warming up the car, so let's walk you through the soft side of things first. Close the valves. As you can see, when I put it back into 8th gear, even with a Catless Downpipe and a non-resonated catback, the car is still really comfortable to drive. That is what we were always after when we developed this exhaust. We wanted to have a exhaust setup that the customer can use on a daily basis, because a 330 hybrid is of course a car that you want to use on a daily basis. So yeah, that's a great thing, of course. We are now in extra boost mode with the car in 8th gear, and yeah, it's completely silent. Add a little bit of throttle. You can hear it on the background rumbling a bit. And even if you put it back to hybrid, of course, then the car switches between the engine and the electric motor. And that is the reason why, of course, BMW have chosen to make the 330e so silent when it was stock. So now the car is running on electric mode. Add a little bit of throttle. The engine is actually switching, but you cannot hear it with our catback because it's still really well insulated. So let's put it back to sport mode with the valves open. So while it's pretty loud, I would say from the interior is really composed still. It's really not too much. Pretty good. And when the car is warm, we have also mapped in a soft Burble. It's it doesn't work the same way as a M340i, for example, or 330i that has it from the factory. Because the hybrid motor will keep pushing, so you have to help it a little bit, like this. Open the windows a little bit. If you add a little bit of throttle, it can do a few pops. So customer wanted a little bit more driving involvement in the sound department. I would say that is pretty much what you need. Too much is of course never a good thing. The Burbles has to be called in by the driver, so it does not do it when you go off throttle. Of course it does it on off throttle when you floor it and then go off throttle. So maybe I can show you that when you go onto the highway. So let's drop back a little bit. So that's just a little bit of overrun that you want from the exhaust sound. It doesn't need to be too much. Of course, if you go for too much, it will be obnoxious, and that's not what we are after. So if you close the valves and go into 8th gear, we are on highway speeds. We are allowed to drive 130 right now. So let's do that. Put it on cruise control. Valves closed. This is just perfect. And we of course seen this car really often in our workshop with this exhaust setup, but we've tested so many exhaust setups, and actually in the car the Catless one is maybe even the most silent because of the airflow that goes straight through the back. With resonator and 200 cell, you do hear a little bit of a deeper note in the interior. Yeah, like this is pretty good. So we are back for our tunnel. So there we go, we are super happy with the results. Really lovely setup like this. Of course, we know these cars really well, and as you can see, there's a lot of junk in the market, giving tuning a bad reputation. With this car now properly tuned and with the exhaust parts properly installed, the customer should be now able to drive and enjoy his car the correct way. I want to thank you guys for watching, like and subscribe, and see you on the next video.